Hello, Macadors Football Fan TV. It is the player ratings from Luxembourg 0, Republic of Ireland 3. A magnificent second half that sees the boys in green finish the campaign in third place in the group, having, I suppose, struggled from the start to halfway through the group. But here we are, and we're third now. It's not really to celebrate because we don't get anything out of it, but I suppose from a pride point of view, it's good in that sense. So I'm going to do player ratings here. You can join me in the comments. You can get your comments in, and the best ones I'll pop up on screen there. So just make sure you get your comments in there. I have the tracker coming up there at the bottom, so to let you know, or anyone who's joining in. So yeah, I start with the line up there. My dog's just being a pain there behind me, but this is live TV, so you gotta do what you gotta do. Gavin Bazunu for me gets an 8. The save he made in the first half that kept us in the game, I think that was absolutely magnificent. That was a game changer, because if that goes in, I think they shut up shop. We struggled to break them down, and then I think we may end up maybe losing or drawing that game. And we obviously needed to finish the game strongly by getting the win. And at that point, that save by Bazunu was absolutely crucial. Now, he was brilliant throughout that anyway, but that save, that was like a match-winning save. I mean, if you watch the back on the replay, the way it deflects off Josh Cullen and the way he sees it and just manages to tip it away, absolutely brilliant. And he gets an 8 from me, Gavin Bazunu. I'm gonna make these as quick as possible. So we had a back three. It seemed at times, you wouldn't know, but we had a back three: John Egan, Shane Duffy, and Seamus Coleman. So I suppose I'll kind of give them all a 7. Well, actually, no, I won't. I'll give Egan an 8.5 because he scored a goal. But I think, like, Egan, he was solid throughout. He didn't do anything wrong. So, but he didn't affect too much things going forward or anything like that. He did his job at the back. So for me, he gets a 7, which is a fair enough rating for me. Always can depend on him. Always does well for Ireland. So I think a 7 is fair for John Egan. Seamus Coleman, I'll go with then. I'm going to give him a 7 as well. I thought he was good, but he was quiet as well. But I mean, if he's quiet, that's probably a good thing if he's playing centre back. So I think giving him a 7 isn't necessarily a bad rating, but the game was won in the second half, and it was by brilliance up top. It wasn't really anything to do with it. Kept a clean sheet as well, so some might say they maybe deserve a bit more, but I just didn't think that they weren't like amazing, but they didn't have to be either. They were just solid and compact, just like we needed to. Shane Duffy, he gets the goal and probably won the most headers and most battles, in my opinion. Now, someone will probably pull up a stat and tell me I'm wrong, but that's what it seemed like on the night. And he scored the goal. I think that goal was obviously the turning point, and it allowed us then to get further up the pitch. And obviously at that point then Luxembourg came on to us, and we were able to then exploit them. And that's what we did later in the game. But it all came from Shane Duffy's headed goal. Josh Cullen, I'd probably give Josh I'm going to give him an 8 for the assist. For Shane Duffy's goal. As well, he always seems to be the person who gets us ticking. He's made that position, that number 6 position, his own since I suppose the start of the campaign. I know he played a little bit before that, but he's come in and he's really made that position his own. Before that, it was probably Howard and James Mccarthy, and do we have someone that can come in there? He has made absolutely no doubt about he is the number 6 there, and you're going to do well to take the jersey off him unless he's injured or suspended. I think he might be suspended now after getting a yellow tonight. Not sure if that carries over to the next round of qualifiers. That remains to be seen, so we'll wait and see for that. Yeah, Josh for me gets an 8. Just always looks so comfortable on the ball in any situation, whether it's a tight situation or whether the pitch is out wide and needs to find a pass, and he's always looking forward. He's always screening. He's always protecting the back four. I just love Josh Cullen, and every game he plays, the more he plays, the better I just think he becomes. Jeff Hendrick had a bit of a quiet game. I'm going to give him a 6.5. Actually, no, I'll give him a 7. I'll tell you why. The ball for Jason Knight for the second goal was excellent, so I'm going to give him a 7. Yeah, Jamie Brennan, he's probably suspended for the Nations League. Josh Cullen, that's probably true. Yeah, Jeff Hendrick, I'm going to give him a 7 just for that ball around the corner to Jason Knight, who showed unbelievable composure to play in Ogbene at that point, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful ball, and that made it 2-0 at that point. But Hendrick was trying to find balls, and he was getting himself into the box. I thought he was quiet a little bit, considering I thought he was far better against Portugal. But look, can't fault him really. He looks a new player under Stephen Kenny, and I'd hope to find someone to tell me otherwise in the comments, as I don't think he could. Then who have we got? We've got James Mclean and Matt Doherty. I thought Mclean actually done really well, and he played that part then in the third goal. So I'm going to give Mclean a 7.5. I thought he was getting balls, he was whipping good crosses into the box, and he put in one with his right foot then as well, and the keeper had to push that out for, it was like a shot kind of cross, and the keeper had to put it out for a corner at one stage, and that was kind of troubling them. But I thought he was doing well. He stayed right out on the wide on the left hand side, and was trying to get balls and trying to get stuff into the box the whole time, and defended well as well. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 7.5. Matt Doherty, I'm going to give him a 7. Didn't think he was overly unbelievable. There was times where he could have maybe shown a bit more composure, like that shot he took and fired over. He probably could have taken a touch there and taken it down, and maybe had a shot then. And then he had a shot later in the game where he fired over from distance as well. But he was well within his rights to take the shot at that time. So yeah, I give him a 7. Then Chiedozie Ogbene, I'm gonna give him a 9. Thought he was a constant threat throughout, and looks like he's taken to international football like a duck to water. I just think he's been brilliant since he's came into the team. He's been positive. Everyone just seems to really like him. He just seems like a really nice guy. He just seems like someone that everyone can get behind, and he puts his heart and soul into everything he does. Obviously got his goal, and just, he scared the life out of them, especially in the first half. He made their centre back get booked early on, and even from the tip he was direct, and he just says something about him that you just want to get behind him, and you just really gravitate to him and like him. Well, I do. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 9, and took his goal really well. The way he just lifted it over the defender rather than hitting on the ground, because he probably something would have happened there where the defender probably would have cleared it or whatever. Took his finish well, and obviously scored in the last game. I think it was Qatar, the header as well. So I think that's 2 goals in 3 games for him. And then we have our up top then, Callum Robinson got his goal as well. I give Callum an 8.5. Concentrate throughout. There was times where he was a bit sloppy in possession, but I suppose the goal kind of tips him up a little bit, a bit like FIFA. If you score a goal, obviously your rating goes up. So I just thought, look, he deserved his goal because he worked tirelessly for the team. But there's times where he just needs to be stronger with his hold of play. But he does look a player reborn under Stephen Kenny. And it's great to see. And he's our talisman now. He's gone from a player who hardly scored for Ireland, but he was always usually left playing out of position a lot of the time, to being, playing down the centre and with a striker. And people seem to enjoy playing with him as well, because he brings other players into play as well as scoring goals. And as I say, he took his goal well. Adamida, I'm going to give him a 6.5. Didn't think he was amazing. I thought he had a better game when he came off the bench against Portugal. Maybe that's down to a lack of game time at club level, I'm not sure. He's still very, very young and still hasn't played that many senior games, or, started many senior games, and he's starting for his country. So I think maybe there's a bit of pressure on him there to do well. And obviously the fact that he hasn't scored in numerous games now, that might be weighing on his head. So that's what I think. Sorry, I'm getting loads of messages coming in here as I'm doing this. Then the subs, I'm going to look. Jason Knight, for me, gets a 10. He gets man of the match. He came on the 62nd minute, and he was involved in all 3 goals. He won the free kick for Josh Cullen to take for Shane Duffy's goal. He sets up the second goal for Ogbene, and then he obviously sets up the third goal for Callum Robinson as well. And he was the game changer. He was the one that flipped the game on its head when he came on for Adam Ida. And it's unfortunate for Ida, because I like Ida. I think he's going to be a good player for us in the future. But Knight came on, took his opportunity, and was absolutely fantastic for me. And I was surprised he didn't start the game. I did say he was the one that he gets into the box and he makes things happen, and that's what he did. I said that in my starting 11 show earlier today, and look, he came on and he changed the game, and I was delighted to see it. Ogbene came off for Alan Brown the 82nd minute. I'm not going to really give Alan Brown a rating because he didn't seem to get into the game. Didn't have a lot of time really at that stage. The game was already kind of dead and buried at 3-0. Then Ogbene, Troy Parrott, and Connor Howard all came on. Again, I'm not really going to give them a rating just because they weren't on long enough. It was nothing against them, they just weren't on long enough. And sorry, the game wasn't over in the 82nd minute. It was over in the 88th minute when Callum Robinson scored. So Brown was on the pitch for one of the goals anyway. But that's been the player ratings. I'll give Stephen Kenny a rating of 8.5. I thought the substitution really worked in his favour. It was a good substitution at the time, and that won him the game. And look, for me, give him the contract. And I don't want to be sitting here like Rio Ferdinand with Ollie at the wheel. But I think all the players are playing for him. They've all come out in defence of him. They all seem to really like playing under him. They all seem to really like the coaching. I did an interview with Matt Doherty before the last international break. He seems to really like playing for Stephen Kenny as well. We're in a new era. Look at all the players he's brought in this campaign. Look how much they all look settled and stuff like that. If we can have a settled back three, maybe of Ogbene, Egan, Duffy, and you still have players coming into the team. You could have Coleman on the wing backs. You've got Coleman and Doherty on the right. You've got Mclean and Stevens on the left, and Ryan Manning. You've got Collins. You've got maybe Darragh O'Shea to come back as well for the games in March. There's a lot of players still to come back into the side as well that can only add to this. The only problem is we don't have enough goal scorers. So if anything happens to Robinson, we'll be sweating on that. But other than that, there's lots of positives to take into March now, considering we finished the campaign strongly. But that's all dead and buried after this campaign. We need to start the Nations League strong as well, but the focus will be the games in March. And obviously he has a bit of a settled squad now, so it's not a case of just bringing in young players like it was maybe in COVID times, where it was just bring in players and see how they get on. And it's their first couple of caps. Like Jason Knight came on tonight for his 9th cap and is involved in all 3 goals and stuff like that. So there's players that are, as Stephen said at the start of the campaign, will benefit for the next campaign. So let's just get behind the team. Let's be happy. We've won 3-0. People will still say, oh, well, we didn't score enough goals, or blah, 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 blah. I'm going to celebrate. 3-0 win. Come on, you boys in green. Make sure to check out my after-match reaction, and make sure to check out Gary's after-match reaction and his 3 talking points. I am going to just chill out now. Listen, have a great night and enjoy yourselves. If you're over in Luxembourg, behave yourself as well. Enjoy your few points and safe flight home. If you're watching at home, just go and check out the other content and enjoy your cans, your points, or whatever else you do. And I'll speak to you all soon. Stay tuned. Over the next week, we'll have more content coming your way. Thanks as always for the support, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care.